listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network.
Fabulous.
Live every Sunday with the very latest food, beverage, and travel trends.
Amazing.
Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
Good morning, everyone. Great to have you listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. This is where California comes to talk. It's the number one place to learn about current trends in food, beverages, travel, and tourism. It's our goal each and every week to give you the tools you need to enjoy living here in the Golden State, the greatest of all 50.
And there's so much to enjoy.
Yeah, isn't that true? Oh my gosh. And then on top of it, we work our hardest to keep it healthy, sustainable, and throw in a little community-focused action as well, you know? Because why not? If you're going to have fun in a responsible
helpful way.
Yes. Thank you. Healthful. Good, Patty.
Yes.
That's my co-host, lovely co-host, Patty Pyburn. I make that mistake all the time. I always say...
I'm going to eat healthy.
I'm going to eat healthy.
Does healthy mind if you eat it?
So you have healthful foods, right?
Healthful foods, and you eat
the
healthily.
adjective. Yes.
Because it's the way you eat.
So what could you say he's a healthy person?
Yeah, he is healthy.
Okay, so that's one of those. I think
a little quick grammar lesson on the use of healthy.
The majority of Americans, and myself included, mess that one up all the time. Straight ahead, this hour on the program, we are introducing you to a new cereal that is getting rave reviews from athletes. And here's the deal. I'm going to show it to the camera right now because if you are watching online, you can see the name of this cereal. It is something that I hesitate to mention on air until later. But
you got to stick around.
You have to stick around for that. It's getting rave reviews from Olympic athletes. It's even being eaten currently by astronauts aboard the International Space Station. The Canadian creation is slowly becoming available here in the United States and has a very unusual name. Then it is all about artisan cheese, but a type you've likely never had. That's my guess. And then we're taking you to a California beer festival at sea that will be heading up the West Coast. Okay, so when you combine craft beer, a cruise, and the California coast, you have just hit a trifecta nirvana in my book. And the minute I saw this, I'm like, they're on the show. I wouldn't even mind putting together an Eat, Drink, Explore group to go on this cruise.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, so...
You're on to something there.
We're in talks with them about that right now. Then next hour, the newest, most cutting-edge foods from around the world are on display today here in California. In fact, our cereal will be at this event. And we'll speak with the organizers to find out what else you can expect to see there. Then we round out the show with an amazing sautéed fish recipe from a new French seafood restaurant in the Paso Robles wine country region, including tips on how you can choose fish, which I always have a hard time doing, and then how you can prepare it, and then a full-blown recipe on how to do that, which is available online right now at eatdrinkexplore.com. But currently, it is time to check in with Patty Pyburn for the very latest news involving the leisure lifestyle. Patty?
That's right. The latest on this Sunday morning from the Eat, Drink, Explore news desk. The world's top surfers are gathering along the Northern California coast today as the Mavericks Surfing Invitational gets underway. According to the organizers, this is the first time in 3 years that contest-worthy waves are predicted for the event. The Mavericks surfing location near Pillar Point in Half Moon Bay is internationally known as one of the best winter locations for the sport, with huge and even deadly waves at times. Now, if you are thinking that you'd like to catch today's event in person, this year there is an accompanying festival. It runs all day, complete with a Sierra Nevada beer garden incentive. And it's supposed to be sunny and beautiful. So
I know. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Upper 60s there. Hey, you know, this year, because I don't think Mavericks is every single year. I think it goes...
Don't they call it when they get the right waves during this time period?
And this time around, it's sponsored by the GoPro camera. It makes total sense. Talk about a really smart marketing maneuver.
And
there.
I've used one of those GoPros to get some cool traffic shots mounting on the front of the car I was driving. They're really awesome.
A friend of mine is a reporter in Kansas City, Missouri, and he uses it. Sometimes they'll do driving stories.
Yes, right. That's what I was using it for.
Yeah, it's a sort of thing.
Got some
So-
cool traffic shots.
Yeah, so imagine the camera shots we'll be getting from these surfers today. It'll be really cool.
I love it. Yes, that's right, because they have a waterproof feature
version,
for
yeah. Mm-hmm.
that. All right, so on the theme of beer, we were just mentioning the beer garden that will be at Mavericks today. A new beer brand with a salty name. It could create up to $50,000 for victims of Hurricane Sandy. The brew made by New Jersey's Flying Fish Brewery is called, okay, get ready.
Here we go.
Stand by for the cereal name and stand by for the beer name.
It's all exactly. These are only initials, but still.
Right. Okay, it is F.U. Sandy.
And I think there are a lot of people on the East Coast that are saying just that.
They share that sentiment. F.U. Sandy is described as a pale ale wheat blend. The brewery says the beer will be available next month, and it will be exclusively on draft, so it's unlikely you'll get it here on the West Coast. Hey, if you're heading back east, ask for F.U. Sandy. It's made with entirely donated ingredients, and the owner says 100% of the proceeds will go to a charity for relief
How
efforts.
cool is that? I just love it.
I like it. I could imagine there may be more similar brands to come.
Right.
All right. The number one purchased fast food item in the world today. Ready?
Uh-huh.
It may be no surprise. This is according to a compilation done by the Daily Meal. McDonald's French fries.
Yeah.
9 million pounds a day. I was
A
thinking,
day?
I was thinking 9 million orders. 9 million pounds a day. The fries are followed up by Burger King's Whopper, Wendy's Crispy Chicken Sandwich, Pizza Hut's Pepperoni Pizza, Taco Bell's Crunchy Beef Taco, and other fast food chains that are making the top 10 include Subway, KFC, Arby's, Hardee's, and Sonic.
You know what surprised me about that is that if that many McDonald's fries are being sold, that the Big Mac or one of their sandwiches wouldn't be number 2.
Next to those fries, right?
But I guess McDonald's has so many different sandwiches that people choose. Maybe it evens it all out.
And the fries go with all those different choices.
Right. But
Fries.
the Whopper is really the big thing you get at Burger King.
Fries with that. Okay.
No salads on that list?
Salads did not make the list. Oh my
Bummer.
gosh. Okay. So, but listen to this. Brussels sprouts, they may not be selling like hotcakes like the McDonald's fries, but they are a favorite for some people. A favorite in my house. My kids ask for them. But whether you like them may have more to do with your genes than your upbringing or your willingness to try new things. Now, researchers at Cornwall College discovered that people who have a specific gene that's mutated are immune to the vegetable's bitterness, according to the report. And about half of us have that mutation. Does that also go along with the people who can't stand to eat broccoli? I feel like there was some DNA
be.
connection with that.
Yeah.
That
Is
hatred.
broccoli bitter?
It isn't bitter, but there are some people who intensely dislike it. I have a friend who, and she's an adult with children, but if it touches her food, if it's on her plate, if it contaminates or even,
It's my favorite. I love
broccoli too. She won't eat an entire meal if she thinks broccoli has touched it.
That was George Bush Sr., right? That didn't. I think that was his big.
I think he was anti-broccoli. I really can't get enough of it. Should we talk about the weather?
Please.
Very sunny. Lots of sunshine expected in the days ahead statewide. Pleasant daytime highs, mid to upper 60s for the northern portion of our state. Some low 80s predicted for limited portions of the Central Coast and Southern California. So some toasty days ahead, unusually so.
Yeah. Oh,
But still cool at night.
right. And I have to leave the Central Coast today to head north. I'm going to be leaving 80-degree temperatures.
You're going to San Francisco. I feel so bad for you.
Yeah, I know. Stick around, everyone. We're going to learn about a very inventive cereal coming up next. The holidays are now over, but Restaurant Month here in California is just getting started. As January unfolds with a wave of culinary diversity, the hottest place in the state to take it all in is along the Central Coast in San Luis Obispo County. Featured on local menus are ingredients grown on nearby farms, savory seafood caught that day in the Pacific Ocean, and grass-fed beef raised on the county's lush green hillsides, all served with a touch of Western flavor unique to the region. Not only are these offerings among the best in the nation, but these foods are paired with top local wines, craft brews, and outstanding scenery. When considering your 2013 New Year's resolutions, be sure to include an education for your palate, an experience that can only come from visiting the culinary destination that is San Luis Obispo County. Oh, and I'm sure saving money is on your list of resolutions as well. Perfect, because participating restaurants are offering substantial 3-course menus for just $30. This is your opportunity to sample some of the many establishments you've talked about visiting but never have, or revisiting some of your old favorites. And because SLO County is at the heart of Central Coast wine country, a new element is being added this year called Wine Wednesdays. Now, select restaurants will be pairing their menus with a local vintner's selections, and look for other wine-related options as well. San Luis Obispo County's 6th annual Restaurant Month runs January 1st through the 31st, but don't wait until the month is almost over to start enjoying this annual tradition. Don't hesitate. Find the restaurant of your choice and make your reservations now. For more information, head to sanluisobispocounty.com and start planning your next mouth-watering adventure.
Yo, what's up? This is the Black Eyed Peas, and we're here for RAD, recording artists, actors, and athletes against drunk driving. Music is one of the most important things in our lives, but nothing is more important than life itself. So when you drink and drive, you're risking the life of yourself and the lives of everybody on the road. Don't plan to drive, just plan ahead.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Seems everybody's going organic, including lawn care. Did you know communities across the country are converting their lawns, playgrounds, and playing fields to an organic care program? And it's working. You can safely control weeds and pests and have a beautiful lawn. Your kids, pets, and water supplies will be safer, and your neighbors will be green with envy. Oh, and in the long run, organic lawn care is cheaper than doing it the conventional way. Switch to organic lawn care today. Visit pesticidefreelawns.org. The folks who brought you this public service message. Check out pesticidefreelawns.org today.
The traditional light bulb, a groundbreaking invention in 1879. Other groundbreaking ideas from that time: the whalebone corset, the pedal-operated submarine, and the 2-story outhouse. We've come a long way since then. It's time our light bulbs did the same. Visit EnergySavers.gov and learn about energy-saving light bulbs. See, these new bulbs are more efficient than the old ones, like a text message is more efficient than a carrier pigeon. They last longer, too, like how we humans last longer now that doctors use antibiotics instead of leeches. And they cut down on our energy costs, because in our own groundbreaking age of aeroplanes and moving pictures, we deserve a light bulb that saves us some cash. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
And a very good morning, everyone. 8:19 now the time on this Sunday Fun Day morning. Great to have you joining us. I'm your host, Randall White. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm joined by Patty Pyburn, who during the commercial break was pulling another duty. She was multitasking. Patty really knows how to work a camera, and on both sides. But she was behind the camera this time, changing our, what do you call that? Iris?
I had to iris up.
Iris up because I was
Randall
so dark.
was in the dark.
I was in the dark. If you're watching us online at eatdrinkexplore.com, you can see a video feed each and every morning. But a good day to you if you're listening right now on Crush 92.5 in San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara counties, and also KSCO AM 1080 in Monterey. Let's see, there's a whole list of counties there. Monterey, Santa Cruz, Santa Clara, those are the big counties, San Benito, Alameda, the list goes on and on. So good morning, everybody. Great to have you with us. And we are talking all things food, wine, travel, and that sort of thing. And our guest this segment, now I have to figure out how to
you just say it.
Do this. Just blurt
you
it
just
out
blurt
there.
It out.
So if you
it gets easier after every time you say it.
Yes. Now, if you have kids in the car, or
Earmuffs.
by the
Earmuffs.
computer. This isn't like a super dirty word.
No.
In fact, I think that most people don't even really consider it bad. It's named. It's actually somebody's last name. That's how it got.
Oh,
its-
really?
Yeah. It was the brand of a toilet.
Oh, I did not know that.
It was called a crapper.
Oh, well.
And that's where the name came in. But at any rate, you're
that
probably
makes
thinking,
sense.
what are they talking about? There's a new cereal. It's delicious. I had it for breakfast this morning. As a matter of fact, everyone in the studio did. It's called, ready? Holy Crap. And if you're watching online right now, I'm holding it up to the camera. You can see for yourself. Patty's got hers up as well. And it's made by the fine folks in British Columbia, Canada. Currently, it's available throughout that entire country. They're eating it on the International Space Station right now. And Olympic athletes left and right are endorsing it, saying it really is just doing the right thing for them. Lyle,
I tasted it this morning.
and you loved it.
I was converted with one bite.
First thing Patty said was, let's go in on an order.
I know. I want to order some right now.
Because it's not exactly inexpensive. Lyle Hartley joins us right now from San Francisco. He'll be at the International Winter Fancy Food Show in San Francisco.
Ooh.
That's why I'm heading up to the Bay
Fancy
Area.
food. I know.
As
That
well.
sounds fun.
And we'll be talking to the organizers of that in the next hour. But Lyle joins us right now, and a good day to you, sir.
Good day. Thank you so much, Randall and Patty. It's beautiful here in sunny San Francisco, and I want to thank you so much for being on Eat, Drink, and Explore.
Oh, thank you, sir. And tell us, or tell our listeners right now, probably the number one question you get is, how did you come up with the name?
Okay, that's a great question. Actually, it was our customers. So Brian and Corin Mullins, the original founders, where they had the cereal and about 21 different recipes, and everyone was liking it so much, they said, hey, you should really have it, for the public. So they were actually selling it in Granville Market in Vancouver, British Columbia, and everyone that was tasting it was saying, holy crap, this tastes great. So the husband, Brian, goes, we should really try that on the label. And Corin's going, it's kind of risky. But the day we actually changed the label, 1,000% increase in sales.
Really? And then
Correct.
the cereal was featured a show here in the United States called Shark Tank. There's a Canadian version that's been running way longer called Dragon's Den?
Dragon's Den, yes. It's in Canada and also in London, England. But yes, this is their 8th season that Dragon Den has been. So when we were selected to go on that, which really helped increase our expansion across Canada, that as soon as they were on the show, we did have 10,000 orders. So Jim Treveling, the actual owner of Boston Pizza, as soon as he tasted it, he said, holy crap, this tastes great. I'll give you whatever you want. So from that, and it does taste great. I'm glad you folks got to actually taste it before you were speaking together.
It reminds me a little bit of tapioca, a crunchy tapioca.
That's true. Well, the chia, the components in it, the ingredients are chia, buckwheat, hemp heart seeds, apple, cinnamon, raisin, cranberry. So there's no doubt, and that's why I suggested to Randall and Patty to actually hydrate it or soak it for 5 to 10 minutes, because that does give the health benefits, and the chia does expand 9 to 11 times. So it does look like a little bit like tapioca. There's lots of, I eat it just straight, right, as it's hydrated there, and add banana, blueberries, etc. But a lot of people do put it with their yogurts, or a lot also do it with, some type of smoothie. And our other product is called Skinny D, which does not have the dried fruit. So for people that, may not want dried fruit, then that's what we have on that side.
Yes.
Well, you said chia. That is an interesting, not an ingredient I've heard before, and I'm curious to know more about that. Is that like we hear, chia? Chia pet.
That is, but that is ours is actually, food grade. That's an industrial grade.
You don't suggest that people eat their chia pets?
No, I don't want to do that. That was great, though. That it does have quite a history, because the Aztec Indians were the ones that were eating it. And at one time, the per ounce cost, although chia is going into the marketplace so much it is going up, but was worth more per ounce than gold. And there's still actually the Tarahumara Indians in Copper Canyon, Mexico, that are still cliff-dwelling, people that they're still eating it to this day. So a lot of them, they would eat it before in the Aztec time and fight all day. So it does have a lot of energy, and it does be a very good food compound that way.
Now let's, Lyle, talk about how Holy Crap ended up on the International Space Station.
Yes, that's also an interesting story that the Canadian Space Agency had a little contest where it said, hey, is there any interesting snacks or products that should be there? And a Riley 9-year-old from Vancouver sent it out and said, hey, you guys should check this out. And he goes, this is the real name. So we were qualified, met it. So it was actually about 12 months, and the same with NASA. Approved it, and not only do you have to meet the health benefit side of it, but then the taste side, right? Because you don't want to be something like backpacking where you're out for 9-10 days, or for them 5 months, and have something that doesn't taste good. So,
right.
But there are some great health benefits, and that's where on that, Patty, with the omega-3s and 6s, just that 2 tablespoons that we use in a serving, that has more 3s and 6s, omega-3s and 6s, than a serving of salmon. And it is very high fiber, so hence the name. The other side, it does become very good that way. So
I just got what he said.
Yes.
Hence the name, yes.
Oh, gosh. So,
yeah, exactly.
Well, the part where you say it expands too, I could see that being a benefit. If you have a good, healthy, and tasty food that then expands, that's perfect for astronaut food, right? Or backpacking, as you were mentioning.
Exactly, yes, and it does have a long shelf life, yeah. And so, because of this, then, not only the International Space Station, but other areas we've been, we are in like 24 countries right now, so even where you'd spent some time, Patty, we're even in Japan. So from, Argentina, London, a number of different, England, Finland, Germany, Korea, so we have quite a following that way. And of course, as you know, by the internet, now it does make it easier to, we can ship direct. And we were also, when Brian and Corn were in the actual Granville Island, it was the same year as the Olympics, so we have the Olympiads also eating it today.
Yeah,
so.
They're all about it. Now, our listeners are saying, okay, great, I get it. It's a really fantastic cereal that tastes wonderful. How do I
get it?
How do I get it? So here in California, tell them.
Right now, we are coming into a number of different stores within the United States of America here. We're in like natural grocers and a number of independents, but the easiest, and you can get all the information, we got some great recipes, is just holycrap.com. And that can give you a lot of information. We also actually, for any people, there's so many great recipes that people love, so everything from peach cobblers to so many things from salads, that we also have a free ebook online on breakfast with benefits.
Oh,
so there's
nice.
12 free recipes that you can download if you just go to holycrap.com. And we are also at the Winter Fancy Food Show, so that's going to be on from today through till Tuesday. So
Lyle, I'm going to see you at that show tomorrow, as a matter of fact. I don't think I'm not going to make it to today's show because the 49er game is getting in the way.
Exactly. Well, there's TVs at the show there, Randall, but we are at booth 4129, which is part of the Canadian Pavilion. So there's also a lot of great other Canadian products. So if you're around,
I will check it out for sure. Holycrap.com. I have to update the link on the website. I linked to the Canadian site.
It's best holycrap.com, yeah.
I apologize for that. Lyle Hartley, I love the humor of the people that run this breakfast with benefits. That's good too. All right, at any rate, I will meet you in person tomorrow, and stick around, everyone. We're talking some very unique cheese right after the break. Some of California's best restaurants, hotels, and homes are perched on steep hillsides with incredible views. But those buildings weren't just thrown there. They were placed on foundations designed and perfected by experts. Throughout much of the Bay Area, those hillside foundations were placed by S.S. Caveney Construction. With nearly 3 decades of experience dealing with the steepest and most difficult terrain, S.S. Caveney Construction is well known for being the go-to company when quality is your number one concern. Hillsides in California, as you know, are prone to drainage issues that can lead to erosion and slippage. S.S. Caveney Construction will solve those problems for you. Get a quote today by contacting the team you need. Head to S.S. Caveney, that's CAVENEY.com, and get your foundation placed correctly the first time.
Hello, this is Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and I want to tell you about my new favorite discovery, Yosemite National Park. I recently went there with my husband and children, and we walked the trails to see the breathtaking waterfalls, admired the grand meadows and giant sequoias. But the future of our national parks is uncertain. Many challenges face our parks today, from polluted air and water to development threats outside their borders and inadequate funding to protect our national heritage. That's why the National Parks Conservation Association recently completed a decade-long assessment of the challenges facing our national parks, along with proposed actions that will ensure our children and grandchildren will be able to enjoy the parks as we have. Our national parks have inspired Americans for nearly 100 years. As we approach the centennial of the National Park Service in 2016, please join us in helping to protect our national park legacy. Find out how at www.mpca.org.
What if it wasn't always about getting ahead? What if you didn't care about being on the fast track? What if your career goals were to change? Instead of flying off to the big interview, what if you flew somewhere else altogether? To embark on a different track, to volunteer in ways you never dreamed of, in places you never imagined yourself being, like a tiny island in the Pacific, barely visible on a map, but where needs are easy to see, or a village on the African continent, where just a little training in HIV awareness can change the fate of thousands. What if you decided to share your skills with others and help someone else get ahead? Peace Corps. Life is calling. How far will you go? To find out more, call 800-424-8580 or visit peacecorps.gov.
For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the freshest local and organic ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat Drink Explore Media, your lifestyle information source. .33 now here on this Sunday fun day morning, and a very good day to you as you get up and start enjoying yet another sunny, gorgeous, cold, chilly to start.
Sunny, beautiful.
Yes. January morning. I am your host, Randall White, joined by Patty Piper, and it's the 20th.
Yes, it is.
Of the
20th
month.
already.
I know. We're almost into.
Where does the time go?
We're almost into February.
February. Is there a brew connection to February?
That's why I always say it that way. Okay, I'm so mad at myself right now because
what'd you do?
I just knew I was going to do this. Last night, our next guest wrote a terrific book.
Oh, you always forget the book.
And I put it next to the bed, and I said, this Sunday,
I'm not forgetting the book.
I'm not forgetting it. And so I put my phone on top of it. So that way,
right.
But then when I got up this morning, it was still dark,
You
and
use your phone as a flashlight.
I didn't want to wake up the rest of the bedroom,
Those,
dogs and
those
husband
two little
included,
dogs.
right? And so I took my phone and I used it as a flashlight,
Right.
To get around, which then removed it from the book. But then later in the morning, when I was in the kitchen, I remembered. Oh,
I need to go get the book.
I need to go get the book. And I walked toward the bedroom, and I cannot tell you what happened between the kitchen and the bedroom.
No book.
There's no book. So
Oh, boy.
I apologize. It's really just for the viewers that are watching us at eatdrinkexplore.com for me to show it to the camera. But we have an actual picture of the book that they could see. It's
Right.
It's really neither here nor there. The book. That's just my little thing. Anyway, blah blah blah.
Now that you got that off of your
Our
chest,
audio guy is over
he's
there
like,
laughing. He's
"Oh,
like,
okay.
Randall's off on a tangent.
bring
again.
it back around.
That's my morning. Okay, so the book is Artisan Vegan Cheese.
How do you have that? How can that be vegan cheese?
Right. How can it be? Well, so this past week I was on Facebook, and a good friend of mine, Bill Daly, who is the food editor for the Chicago Tribune, had a little Facebook post. He said, "I just tried the best brie vegan cheese. Was highly skeptical, but blown away."
And then you said, how can that be vegan cheese?
And Bill, if you know Bill, he's all about the decadence,
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, that's kind of cool. I'm gonna, I want to check this out because I'm actually trying being vegan right now. So I looked it up, and the author is from California. So I'm like, all right, dead ringer, here we go.
Yeah.
And then I contacted Miyoko, and she said, sure, I'll be on the show. And so that is who we have right now. And you know what? I apologize. I don't have the call screener window up. And so I'm going to have it's Shinner. Great. Author Miyoko Shinner joins us right now from, I believe, Marin County. Is that right, Miyoko?
That's correct, Randall. Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you. Is it San Anselmo? Is that where you are?
That is exactly where I am.
My grandfather was the fire commissioner of San Anselmo, and my father grew up there. So
Is that right?
Yeah.
Small world.
So I just thought I'd throw that out.
Okay. Yeah, there are lots of families here that just go back generations.
Miyoko, you have been vegetarian for 40 years, vegan for 20. Anyone watching online right now can see you're just absolutely gorgeous. It's clearly doing something right for you.
Yes. I don't know about that, Thank you.
But you'd been playing around with the idea of vegan cheeses for years, and then finally hit on a number of recipes that are now this book.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, I've been playing around with them for a long time. I was a complete cheesehead years ago when I was a lacto-ovo vegetarian. And when I moved back to Japan in the 1980s, which is where I am originally from, I couldn't find cheese, and I literally went berserk, because I was just exotic. I was used to having exotic cheeses all the time, all the bries and the camemberts and the Limburgers and the Tillagio. The stinkier the better was my rule. So, and when I first became vegan, when I realized that all this dairy that I was consuming, even though I was a vegetarian, wasn't any better for me than eating just a bunch of junk food. It was really hard. I just went through withdrawal.
Yeah, I can imagine because my friend Kira Clapper and I have an expression that we share that we love cheese so much we could bathe in it.
I hear you. And and it there really is something in cheese that is addictive, and it's not just the flavor and the richness and the fat, but there's actually something called casomorphine. Oh. And I'm not making that word up, but it's really an opiate. It's an opiate that's in all dairy products, and it's there just to calm down babies.
Wow.
Oh, so hot milk, there's something to that hot milk thing then, huh?
Yeah, there really is. I mean, and it's, because it's meant for infants to calm them down. That's why babies fall asleep at the breast. And it's in your mom, it was in your mom's milk, and it's in cow's milk, and because it's really not meant to be consumed beyond infancy.
Right. So so probably the number one question you get is vegan cheese. How can you possibly do it without the dairy? And what's your just easy answer to that?
Oh, the easy answer is basically cheese is just cultured and aged milk. So you can make milk out of any other, lots of other things, plant-based nut milks or soy milk or whatever, and you just have to culture it and age it, just like dairy milk. There's a few tweaks that you have to do to make it, hard or to take on form, but it works.
So does the end product, is it then comparable to a cheese that you would make with a dairy product? It's just hard for me to just, get
I know,
that.
Especially because there's so many bad vegan cheeses on the market. I mean, most of the stuff that's on the market is just inedible in my book. But, they passed the omnivore test. I basically started making vegan cheeses and serving them at my husband's a lawyer, and, every year I cater his holiday parties, and I served them up to other lawyers and his clients, and, they're all omnivores, and I didn't say anything, no fanfare, not, this is vegan cheese or anything, and people just ate them up and thought, one person asked me, wow, this is a really fine, I love the cheese with peppercorns. Did you get it from that dairy in Marin? It's like, so that's when I knew I was onto something. So
Yeah.
That's really,
She put her pinky to her mouth and like Dr. Evil, yes. Because if you tell people ahead of time this is vegan cheese, their taste buds do about face, and they don't really sample it the way they should.
Well, that's why it's kind of intriguing that your friend, was it Bill Daly?
Mm-hmm.
Did he know it was vegan when he tried the brie? Or
I haven't asked him if that. Yeah.
But he was a believer.
He was a total believer, so much so that he posted it on Facebook.
That's incredible. Yeah. So I mean, that's been my experience with my cheeses. Is I serve them up to people, and they're skeptical at first if they know about it, or if they don't know about it, they just chomp it down.
So whether you're making vegan cheese or any kind of cheese, to me, and I like to cook and I take on some complicated projects, but I haven't ever tried making cheese. It seems, I don't know, like it would be hard to do.
Like the start date is here and the end date is months away. And
Exactly.
I think
it's true. Or it can be a few days, depending on whether you're making a fresh cheese or one that's a hard aged cheese, which does take months. But there is a learning curve, and it requires the most important ingredient is patience.
Oh,
and if you don't have,
I wonder we haven't made it, Patty.
Yeah,
that's why. That is it in one word.
Yeah.
Miyoko, one of the things I noticed in your book is that once you get down a couple of the key ingredients that seem to be used in many of the cheeses, and you recommend that those are homemade as well, if you sort of get that down, then the rest of the process is pretty easy.
I think it is. The actual hands-on time is really minimal. It's just minutes for each cheese. But you have to, there are multiple steps. You have to, after you mix the ingredients, you have to culture it at room temperature, and then you have to maybe brine it or salt it and air dry it, and there's all this stuff you have to do. Mm-hmm. And so there are multiple steps, and there is that waiting time, which is really what is the hardest for people. And then you have to taste it because everyone's house is different, and we're not making these in controlled environments, and so you have to really taste your product as you go along to see, well, has it cultured long enough? Is it sharp enough? Is it tangy enough? Does it, has it developed the full flavor before you move on to the next step? And a lot of people don't want to do that. They want a clear-cut recipe. You culture it for exactly 12 hours and then you move on to it. And it's not that way.
Sometimes experimentation is a little intimidating.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Well,
but it's really easy. So
of all the cheeses yes, and you experimented for a long time. Of all the cheeses in your book, is there one that seems to be a standout that really just tricks people all the time, or whether it tricks them or not, people say this is the best tasting one that I've had?
Yeah, well, there's a basic cashew chev in there that people just say is just spot on like goat cheese. And the brie is definitely, a dead ringer. Well, I wouldn't say it doesn't have quite that gooey texture, but that brie does, if you know what I mean.
Right.
But it's pretty close. It's really creamy and luscious, and it satisfies that craving.
I want to try your Monterey Jack because I could eat. Specifically pepper jack in my case. I could eat pepper jack morning, noon, and night. I love pepper jack, and I haven't had it. Well, actually, I did have it this week because I bought a vegan version at one of our local stores here. It was made with almonds, and I try to stay away from too much soy. And so it's really good. It tasted like cheese, and this is an industrial one, So I'm thinking if they can do it on that level industrially,
you should be able to do it.
At home, I can probably make a better one.
Now, Miyoko, Anthony, our producer here, wants to know, how about a buffalo mozzarella? Is there a vegan version of that?
Oh, my gosh. Is there a vegan version of buffalo mozzarella? I've got one. I'll tell you, I'll be really honest. There's actually two recipes for buffalo mozzarella in the book. One that melts for pizza, which is really fantastic. And then there's one that's for caprese salad. But, I'm constantly experimenting, and after I finished the manuscript and the book was already at the printer, I developed another recipe for buffalo mozzarella that I think is superior to the one that I published in the book. And that one was actually published in Veg News magazine last fall.
Can we share that one also? Can you send it to me and we can put it on the website?
I can send you, and then since then I've developed an easier recipe for buffalo mozzarella.
Oh, good.
I teach all the time, so I'd be happy to email that recipe.
Easier
think
equals
that
better.
Anthony has gone into a food stupor over here.
I know, Anthony's over there making noises that aren't ready for radio.
We can't put him on.
Miyoko Schinner, she's the author of Artisan Vegan Cheese, Patty.
And you know what? If there's ever a poster face for being vegan, this stunningly beautiful woman right here would make anyone turn vegan. Whatever she's doing, it's working.
Isn't that true? It is so true. Miyoko, thank you for joining us today. My best to all your fellow San and Selmans.
Thank you. Love being on your show. Bye-bye.
Stick around, everyone. We're talking about a beer festival at sea. Okay, off the California coast.
Ahoy, mate.
I'm there. The holidays are now over, but Restaurant Month here in California is just getting started as January unfolds with a wave of culinary diversity. The hottest place in the state to take it all in is along the Central Coast in San Luis Obispo County. Featured on local menus are ingredients grown on nearby farms, savory seafood caught that day in the Pacific Ocean, and grass-fed beef raised on the county's lush green hillsides, all served with a touch of Western flavor unique to the region. Not only are these offerings among the best in the nation, but these foods are paired with top local wines, craft brews, and outstanding scenery. When considering your 2013 New Year's resolutions, be sure to include an education for your palate, an experience that can only come from visiting the culinary destination that is San Luis Obispo County. Oh, and I'm sure saving money is on your list of resolutions as well. Perfect, because participating restaurants are offering substantial 3-course menus for just $30. This is your opportunity to sample some of the many establishments you've talked about visiting but never have, or revisiting some of your old favorites. And because SLO County is at the heart of Central Coast wine country, a new element is being added this year called Wine Wednesdays. Now, select restaurants will be pairing their menus with a local vintner's selections, and look for other wine-related options as well. San Luis Obispo County's 6th annual Restaurant Month runs January 1st through the 31st, but don't wait until the month is almost over to start enjoying this annual tradition. Don't hesitate. Find the restaurant of your choice and make your reservations now. For more information, head to sanluisobispocounty.com and start planning your next mouth-watering adventure.
Seems everybody's going organic, including lawn care. Did you know communities across the country are converting their lawns, playgrounds, and playing fields to an organic care program? And it's working. You can safely control weeds and pests and have a beautiful lawn. Your kids, pets, and water supplies will be safer, and your neighbors will be green with envy. Oh, and in the long run, organic lawn care is cheaper than doing it the conventional way. Switch to organic lawn care today. Visit pesticidefreelawns.org. The folks who brought you this public service message. Check out pesticidefreelawns.org today.
Across the nation, people are stepping up for their mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, partners, sisters, and brothers. They're leading the way and walking to end Alzheimer's, the 6th leading cause of death in the nation. Together, we can reclaim the future. Walk to end Alzheimer's. Start a team. Join a team. Go to alz.org.
For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the freshest local and organic ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat Drink Explore Media, your lifestyle information source.
You waited all week, and it's finally here. The Eat, Drink, Explore Weekly Travel Deals Extravaganza.
Correct. That is correct. 8:49 the time right now. I'm your host, Randall White. Wonderful to have you joining us. This is California's place to talk about food, wine, travel, beer, and in some cases, all of those combined.
Mm-hmm. And why not?
Right. That's my lovely co-host, Patty Pyburn, and I was talking to Patty off air and on air for that matter,
Mm-hmm.
that when you combine craft beer
Mm-hmm.
and a California Beer Festival,
Yes.
an ocean-going cruise liner,
Mm-hmm.
and the California coast, I cannot
Perfection.
think. It is perfection. That I can't think of a trip I'd rather take. And so as soon as I saw that this actually exists, that someone did put this together, I thought we need to have them on the show to talk about it. Greg Nako with Cruise Specialist out of Novato, California, my hometown, joins us right now to talk about the beer festival at sea. Welcome to the program, Greg.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. I'm actually a fan of your area down there, a little south of you. I went to UC Santa Barbara, so I know your area well. And
Santa Barbara's heaven on earth, just about, except for the prices. Other than that, it's perfect. So, Greg, how did this all come about? Who approached you, or were you the one that put it together?
You know, I really have to give credit to Scott Clifton at Celebrity Cruises, and Scott is a foodie. He's done some wine cruises in the past, and very successfully with Celebrity. And he just had this idea that it would be a perfect cruise to try a California beer festival at sea. And he knows the festivals as well, and knows.
Greg, we actually have Scott on the line now. I'm seeing Scott is the director of sales.
Should we bring him in?
Let's bring him into the fold, and welcome to you, Scott.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Now, where are you located? Are you here in California?
I am. I'm in beautiful Orange County, California, and it's, as you know, a very gorgeous day this morning.
Yes, beautiful up and down the coast. Orange County, I believe, just like San Luis Obispo, low 80s today.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be a little warm.
All right. And so...
Hey, stop rubbing it in.
So, Scott, you approached Greg and said, hey, there's the craft beer movement is really exploding. I imagine Celebrity's done some like wine tasting kind of things before, so let's start mixing beer into the fold.
You're exactly right. And in fact, as you well know, Randall, the craft beer segment is the fastest growing in the beverage segment or beverage category. And so as a result, we've actually converted one of our bars on board the Solstice, the ship that we're going to be using for this incredible craft beer festival at sea, to a craft beer brew pub. And so we're actually doing all kinds of different classes. We have cicerones, which are as you know, the beer experts, equivalent of a sommelier for the beer industry, and really trying to leverage this incredible growing segment and an opportunity to really be able to enjoy, as you were leading off, an incredible cruise with unlimited beer and a great chance to be one-on-one with some of the top brewmasters in the country.
We both looked at each other, unlimited?
The minute I heard unlimited, I'm like, ding! Okay, so where did Vincenzo come into the mix? He joins us on the line right now as well. Vincenzo, let's see if I get this right, Giammanco.
Wow, you nailed it.
Wow, very nice.
Yay, that's good.
I actually have to hand it to my wonderful producer, Cora. She put the pronunciation in there for me. But Vincenzo, so you run the California Beer Festival, and if this is a guess, but you're out of Ventura, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Right there, next to Santa Barbara, next to heaven.
Yes. You know what? Ventura is heaven at a cheaper price.
Yes.
In my opinion, I say Ventura. A lot of people say Ventura. Yes.
Yeah.
So, and then here's another like a double pronunciation. I grew up in Marin County, and I always call it Lagunitas beer, but their website shows it's Lagunitas, but I just can't get out of the habit of calling it Lagunitas. How did you hook up with that will be the featured craft beer on the ship?
Well, that's one. There will be 3 breweries that will be featured. We're going to announce the next 2 coming up here in the next couple weeks. But Lagunitas is one of my favorite breweries, craft beer breweries. And,
Amen. Mm-hmm.
And one of the fastest growing breweries in the United States at this point. And they just have so much passion and behind. I mean, not that other breweries have passion, but there's something about Lagunitas and their brewery and just, their beer that you just really... You feel when you take a sip of their beer, you really know what they're trying to do, and we're honored to have them on the first inaugural CBF at Sea.
They're out of Petaluma now, and they one of their the guy that is sort of in charge of community relations. I think his card says Director of Fun,
Director of
or
Fun.
something like
that
job.
So,
I might have that wrong, but it's along those lines. Greg,
I have to give a. Just a little side note on Lagunitas. because I was at a San Francisco Giants game with a friend of mine, and we walked in, and he went to get hot dogs, and I went to get beer. And I'm standing in line to get a beer, and there's like 10 of us. And the guy at the front of the line goes, "Who wants free beer?"
What?
And he looks back at like 10 guys who all raise their hand. And he goes, "One condition. It has to be Lagunitas." There was Lagunitas and another beer being poured.
And everyone kept their hand up?
Everybody said, I said, well, that's what I was going to get anyway. And he ended up being, I think he was the director of fun.
Yes.
And he goes, I worked there. And he bought everybody in line a beer.
That's
wow.
awesome. So Scott is with the
Celebrity
Celebrity Cruises. Scott, so this is one of those repositioning cruises, right? The ships in the spring go from the Mexico region up to the Alaska region for the summer cruising, and it starts off in Mexico and moves all the way up through Canada, correct?
It does, and in fact, this ship, the Celebrity Solstice, is our highest-rated ship in the entire fleet, and it's the first time that Celebrity Solstice will ever visit the West Coast. It's actually coming from Australia, New Zealand, where it's doing some beautiful cruises down in the South Pacific, and Australia, New Zealand will be coming through Hawaii and then ending up in Ensenada. And the great part about this, Greg and Vincenzo and I have really put together a solid package because the listeners don't even have to transit themselves down to Ensenada. They simply park their car or fly into San Diego Airport, and we're going to motor coach them complimentary. Normally a $90 value per person. We're going to take them down, enjoy beer on the motor coach, and great way to start the vacation. The cruise does then begin in Ensenada so that it's an international port where we can open up the casinos and duty-free shopping and so forth. And then as it moves its way up the coast, visiting San Diego, Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, San Francisco, Astoria, Oregon, and as you mentioned, Victoria, British Columbia, before getting into Seattle, the guests are able to enjoy all kinds of home brewing lessons and different beer seminars, and then, of course, visit breweries when the ship gets into each of the ports.
Sounds amazing.
It does. We have less than a minute left. Greg, how do people contact you? The prices, I looked at them, are really reasonable for this level of cruise.
Mm-hmm. This is a fantastic ship. There's also complimentary beverage package, and they can check into this on our website, which is cruisespecialist.com.
And we have a link at Eat Drink Explore. And what's the other one?
And or give us a call at 800-544-2469.
We'll put that on the website as well. Greg Naco, Vincenzo Giamanco, and Scott Clifton, thank you for joining us on Eat Drink Explore today.
Cheers. Have a login.
The Eat Drink Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break, and we'll be back on the air shortly. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break, and we'll be back on the air shortly.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
Very good day to you, Crush 92.5 listeners. 9 o'clock straight up. I'm joined by Patty Pyburn, and what fun was that with the cruise people?
That cruise sounds amazing.
So Ricardo Teodosio, running our video here, said that the very end there, when we were giving information, we got cut off. So I do want to let you know that you can get the information you need at eatdrinkexplore.com. Just go under today's program summary. So you'll want to look for the January 20th program summary, and there's a link directly there to the beer cruise. In the future, I mean, this is nothing. We haven't put pen to ink on this or anything, but we would like to get a group of Eat, Drink, Explore listeners and have, do a big where we're all kind of together on this.
That would be so cool. Can you do a broadcast from sea?
You know what? Because there is a Sunday in there. It's a 10-day cruise. So there's a Sunday that would be part of that. I might be able to do like a phone. Like we'd have to get someone in. If you were along with us, Patty, we would have to get a phone or somebody who would
Maybe
anchor the show here.
Maybe you're going to have to get a group and a fill-in host at the same time.
Exactly. And not tell them why we're gone. Because then they'll want to be part of it.
Yeah.
No, but so if we could get a fill-in host, then you and I could join them via phone line, which would be just as good. So
much fun.
I know. I will be in talks with Greg about putting something together for all of that. So a very good day to you, everyone. As Patty mentioned in the previous hour, here in San Luis Obispo, we are expected to reach a high of 81 degrees today, which will
toasty.
Be such a nice, it's perfect. Open up all the windows in the house, air everything
Get a little
out.
sunshine in, turn the heat off for those of you who fired up the heater.
Right. We have a little portable heater that we've been using, and it was cold when we got into the studio, but we have so much equipment in this studio that by the time, like right now, now we have the windows open.
Yeah.
Trying to get the hot air out.
Oh, Randall, you have to leave then.
This hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio is brought to you by Eberly Winery in Paso Robles. Eberly opens their doors at 10 o'clock in the morning, so you have an hour to get ready and head on up to, or maybe over, wherever you're situated here on the Central Coast, to Eberly. And then they're open until 6 o'clock, so it's not like a rushed situation. You have plenty of time to get there and enjoy their complimentary wine tasting and cave tours. If you're a big 49er fan, you can fit it in before the game. If you want to do a little celebrating after and some tasting, you can go there after the game. But if you've been celebrating too much during the game, I don't know that they want you in their tasting room then. I've talked to a lot of tasting room people that are like, oh boy, when you see those big limos pull up, you know what's next.
They're having too much fun.
All right. Voted by Wine Spectator as one of the best tours on the Central Coast because of those cave tours. I mean, that's exciting. Eberly Winery, located on 46 East in Paso Robles. It's on the left-hand side if you're headed east. Log on to... You can't miss it, by the way. Log on to eberlywinery.com. EBERLE winery.com. So thank you to Eberly, and if you do head there to the tasting room today, make sure you say that you heard about it on Eat, Drink, Explore Radio, because they're just wonderful to, for months now, for more than a half a year, they've been our primary sponsor here on Crush, and we appreciate it.
Yes.
And we
awesome.
But they need to know, that
so
it's working.
Tell them.
So you can help us out a lot by telling them. Yes. So if you need information on any of the guests that we heard in the last hour, that would include the cereal with a questionable name. the vegan cheeses, which was pretty amazing, or that beer cruise. You can get all of that information at eatdrinkexplore.com under today's program summary. We have a full hour ahead now, and that includes a fantastic chef from the Paso Robles region with a recipe online as well, and he'll give you pointers. Some people struggle with cooking fish.
Yeah.
Well, this guy runs a seafood restaurant, and so and he's French.
He's got the information.
So he's going to give us all those goodies. And then speaking of goodies, Fancy Food Show in California today. We'll talk to them and what you can expect.
Fun.
What's the very latest out there? 9:05 the time. We're back in 1 minute. It will be a while before we see the labeling of genetically modified foods, but that doesn't mean you can't be a smart shopper and head to the store armed with knowledge. Our California Love website has a list of local companies producing food right here in California that are GMO-free and, in most cases, organic too. Head to CA, as in California, LUV, as in shorthand for love.com. It's that easy to find our list of local companies with your health in mind. You can also find this list on our Apple and Android smartphone and tablet apps, which are absolutely free in the App Store. Simply search Eat, Drink, Explore and download it to your device. Our California Love website also contains a vegetable and fruit chart so you can more easily buy local produce that's in season. Also, fresh and local recipes from the farmers market. Head there, check it out right now. CALUV.com.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network.
Fabulous.
Live every Sunday with the very latest food, beverage, and travel trends.
Amazing.
Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
9:06 the time, everyone. Sorry, I questioned whether my mic was up. That's why you heard that.
Stutter start.
Yes, stutter start. Good morning, everyone. Great to have you with us. I'm your host, Randall White, joined by the lovely, talented Patty Pyburn.
Good morning, everyone.
We're in here doing the Honeybee. That is the name of our theme song, and I love it. You can watch us online at eatdrinkexplore.com, or you may be listening via KSCO AM 1080 out of the Santa Cruz region into the south, spilling into the South Bay and beyond, down into the Salinas Valley as well. And then also our good friends at Crush 92.5 along the Central Coast. Weather for all of us will be fantastic today. Looking forward to a sunshiny day with lots of fantastic temperaters.
Yes,
no matter
especially
where you
for
are.
the central to southern portion. Should
Yes.
be warmer than what is normal for this time of year.
So, Patty, I don't know, did you see the link?
The words.
Yes.
You know, I love words. I am a word lover.
Me too. I love the history of words.
To find out the origins or of phrases.
Is that the
and
etymology?
The etymology of the word, yes.
The etymology of a word. Well, an article crossed my desk this past week of 14 wonderful words with no English equivalent. You know, sometimes there's a word that just summarizes something in another language.
And there's just not really an exact literal translation.
Right. There might be an expression in English, but
6 or 8 words to describe what the one word means.
Yes. So when I started going down this list of words, I realized that just about every single one of them had to do with our theme of the show. So I thought, let's just spend a segment talking about these wonderful words. And by the way,
this is the only comment I have on this upcoming segment. And I just ask for some audience forgiveness in advance. We don't know how to pronounce these words, Randall.
No, because there are other languages,
Yes.
you know, so we will be slaughtering 14 words.
we will butcher them for sure. Just so you know.
The words come from an online website called The Week, and it's just theweek.com. We'll provide a link to it at Eat, Drink, Explore, but we did not put this list together. The Week did, and we'll start with the very first one. It's Georgian, and we don't mean the South.
No.
We're not talking peanut farms. We're talking Georgia in the former Soviet Union, but Eastern Europe.
So how do we say this one? Shimame Jamo?
I'm going to say Shimama
Jamo?
Jamo. But you have to say it sort of Shimama Jamo.
Yeah,
No,
I don't know.
Anyway, so you know when you're really full, but you don't stop eating because what you're eating is so delicious?
So every day almost for me.
When it's some of those vegan cheeses from the last
that
hour?
definitely applies for Thanksgiving.
Oh, for sure. In fact, this word, if it was easier to pronounce, maybe it would be in our language. But anyway, the Georgians feel your pain. This word means I accidentally ate the whole thing.
I could use that word, Shimama Jamo. Shimama Jamo.
We'll just Shimam made jamo. Shimam made jamo. There you go.
Okay.
All right. The next one, a little easier. This is from Ghana in Africa.
And who can't relate to this?
Yes. The word is Pelenti.
Pelenti.
What does it mean, Patty?
Well, it means, and everyone who hasn't done this before, you take a big bite of something that you just can't wait to eat, like really hot pizza, and then you go,
Yeah,
and you
start
kind of
rolling
toss it around because every part of your mouth that it hits hurts, but you don't want to give it up. Well, that is polenti, and the Ghanaians say, that one word means move hot food around in your mouth.
Yes. So, let's see here.
Oh, I like that you got this one.
Is this the?
And how do we say this word?
Let's see.
The Tagalog word.
Oh, the Tagalog. Tagalog. Is
Tagalog.
That how you say it?
Tagalog. I think.
We used to.
Tagalog.
We used to have Joanna, who used to work.
Yes.
Patty and
She's
my producer.
Filipino, and she spoke.
We can't even
that
say
word.
Language.
Tagalog.
Tagalog.
Okay.
It's Leogenic is how I'm going to say it. Leogenic. And remember in the show Clueless, when Cher describes someone as a full-on Monet from far away, it's okay, but up close it's a big old mess.
Yes.
Well, that's exactly what the word means. Is from far away, it's like, look, that person's hot.
Who?
Then you get up close, you're like, oh, not. From hot to not. So that's a Leogenic.
Okay, who can't relate to that? So next on the list, we have a word from South Africa. Raw. I don't know. Raw.
Rwe. I'm going to say Rwe.
Rwe.
It's RHWE. It's 4 letters, and I'm just going to say it's Rwe.
Okay, I love how they refer to the college kids.
Yeah, so because I think people beyond college have done this, but you ever accidentally wake up, or not accidentally, but you wake up and you're like, how did I get
Unknowingly.
here? I'm on a floor with no pillow, no blanket,
but adding on to it while drunk naked.
Well, there's a word for that. Apparently, it happens more often than not in South Africa.
Okay.
So, okay, we're back to Georgia again in the Eastern Europe, and it's just zeg. It just means zeg, and it means the day after tomorrow.
So we have today and tomorrow, but we don't have the day after tomorrow, which would be the next day.
No, we have to say the day after tomorrow. 4 words, but they just have one word, zeg.
Zeg. I'll see you, zeg.
So that would be Tuesday for us right now.
Yeah.
And so Tuesday is zeg.
I love it.
You know what? That's an easy one. So I want to make that.
You gonna start using it? You're gonna try to bring it back to the American language.
I'm going to. In fact, our next guest,
Randall's bringing it.
Their food thing ends on Tuesday, so I'm going to say, so it ends zeg.
Okay. They'll go, sure, whatever you just said.
Whatever.
Okay, Norwegian.
Yes,
you think peleg?
Yeah, I'll say that.
It's for sandwich artists. It's a non-specific descriptor for anything. Ham, cheese, jam, Nutella, whatever, onions, lettuce, whatever you put on your sandwich. It's peleg.
So in essence, we would just call it a sandwich ingredient. They call it, if it's meant to go in a sandwich.
It's even beyond condiment.
Right. Okay.
It's a sandwich stuffer.
Huh. In neighboring Sweden, that is neighboring, right? In neighboring Sweden.
In the neighborhood.
Lagom is the word, and it's a slippery little word, apparently, that's hard to define, but it means something like not too much, not too little, but just right. Goldilocks.
Yes, Goldilocks.
So when you're eating your hot oatmeal,
not too cold,
right?
Not too soft.
It's that perfect temperature. And
yes.
So, or it doesn't have to be a temperature. In this case, it's just the perfect amount
whatever it
on
is,
your plate.
It's the perfect.
The perfect size beer glass, which is 22 ounces.
Or what Randall likes to promote, the perfect bite.
The perfect bite. Has a little bit of everything on it together. Right?
Just right. All right. So from the Scots comes this word, and it's a use of onomatopoeia. I like to say onomatopoeia. So it sounds like.
Oh, okay.
Tartle. Tartle means, and who hasn't felt this, that panicky feeling when you're like, I have to introduce this person.
And I can't remember their name.
Is your name Joe, John, Joe, what is it?
That's an awful feeling of panic.
Tartle.
It's called tartled. I was just completely tartled.
Yeah.
I mean, can you conjugate these words? I guess so.
Tartling. I don't know.
Right. I've tartled way too many times, to be honest with you, and it was awful. When I was a bartender or a restaurant manager, you deal with so many people and so many regulars, and you don't want to offend them, And then you're like, "Oh, John, sir, you've been in here a lot. I'm being tartled."
Okay, so we have 6 more words, and you can see them online, right? On eatdrinkexplore.com.
You can. 9:14 the time. We're back in a moment with the fanciest food in the world. And it's all here in California today, tomorrow, and zeg. The holidays are now over, but Restaurant Month here in California is just getting started as January unfolds with a wave of culinary diversity. The hottest place in the state to take it all in is along the Central Coast in San Luis Obispo County. Featured on local menus are ingredients grown on nearby farms, savory seafood caught that day in the Pacific Ocean, and grass-fed beef raised on the county's lush green hillsides, all served with a touch of Western flavor unique to the region. Not only are these offerings among the best in the nation, but these foods are paired with top local wines, craft brews, and outstanding scenery. When considering your 2013 New Year's resolutions, be sure to include an education for your palate, an experience that can only come from visiting the culinary destination that is San Luis Obispo County. Oh, and I'm sure saving money is on your list of resolutions as well. Perfect, because participating restaurants are offering substantial 3-course menus for just $30. This is your opportunity to sample some of the many establishments you've talked about visiting but never have, or revisiting some of your old favorites. And because SLO County is at the heart of Central Coast wine country, a new element is being added this year called Wine Wednesdays. Now, select restaurants will be pairing their menus with a local vintner's selections, and look for other wine-related options as well. San Luis Obispo County's 6th annual Restaurant Month runs January 1st through the 31st, but don't wait until the month is almost over to start enjoying this annual tradition. Don't hesitate. Find the restaurant of your choice and make your reservations now. For more information, head to sanluisobispocounty.com and start planning your next mouth-watering adventure.
Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree?
This is Annie Lennox of Eurythmics for RAD. Please don't drink and drive, and don't drive if someone else has been drinking. Thank you.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Across the nation, people are stepping up for their mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, partners, sisters, and brothers. They're leading the way and walking to end Alzheimer's, the 6th leading cause of death in the nation. Together, we can reclaim the future. Walk to end Alzheimer's. Start a team. Join a team. Go to alz.org.
For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the freshest local and organic ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat Drink Explore Media, your lifestyle information source.
Been in San Francisco since 1933. Become a part of the city's history. People from around the world hang out at my bar. The tourists, the locals, and the
Good morning,
famous
everyone.
stars.
Great to have you with us.
Even Janis
Hold on one second. I
Joplin
don't want to
used
compete with
to
the woman.
walk
Can you just pot her down a bit? There we go. Thank you. 9:19 the time. Great to have you with us. And I'm your host, Randall White. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. Patty Pyburn joins me. Hello, Patty.
Good morning.
And starting today, running through tomorrow and Zeg, which means the day after tomorrow. There is a worldwide event going on in San Francisco at the Moscone Center, and it is the Winter Fancy Foods Show.
Sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like too much to even take in. Even with today, tomorrow, NZEG.
Right, Anzeg. And the whole thing is you really do need all that time to hit all the different pavilions because they group things, whether
like
it's
we heard
by
from our
country.
earlier guest at the Canadian Pavilion. So
Yeah, because this is truly an international event. And joining us online right now is Ron Tanner with the Winter Fancy Food Show to talk about how you can take it all in. Ron, welcome to the program.
Well, welcome, Randall. We have about 180,000 food products here. Do you think you could eat that many in 3 days?
You know what? Don't put it past us.
Okay. You're going to have to choose. You're going to have to divide and conquer.
and then we would need that word that means we ate the whole thing.
Right, yeah. I forget how to pronounce that one. But so 180,000 food products. How many countries are we talking about?
There's about 42 countries that are exhibiting here, and they represent, maybe about 1/4 of the exhibitors at the Fancy Food Show, but lots of domestic companies. I think we have over 400 companies actually from California that are here.
Terrific.
So you can eat things that are probably made up the street from your radio station, and you can eat things which are made halfway around the world.
That's one of the reasons why I'm headed there, because we have a California focus. We try to focus as much on the Golden State as possible. And when I heard about this, I thought, what a great way to get in touch with so many potential guests for the show, all in one sitting.
Right.
That'll be good. Yeah, you'll have lots of people that'll want to talk and have wonderful things to talk about. So many great stories of businesses they've started and their mother's recipe or their grandmother's recipe that they've taken to market and are sharing with people all over the world.
A large number of mom and pops.
Oh, yeah, very much a large number of mom and pops. I would say that of the exhibitors here, probably about 80% of them are family-owned businesses.
I love it.
And that family-owned business can often be like one person. So, many of them are very small, and, they've come up with their ideas for their products. They're getting them started, and many of them will grow. We've had companies that have come out of the Fancy Food Show, include companies like Ben & Jerry's, companies like Dove Bar, like Famous Amos Cookies. So as you come up here, you might see somebody who has one little tiny booth, and they're there by themselves, but in 10 years, they may be the next Ben & Jerry's.
So if there's the next big thing out there, how does someone become part of the Fancy Food Show? What's the process? What do you do?
Well, you need to be a member of our association. We're a trade association. We have about 3,000 members, so people have to join. And there's a couple rules. You have to be in business for a year, and you have to sell through to at least 6 stores. Because the last thing that we want is to have somebody come in and get really excited about a product, and then the company's not able to supply it to it. So those are the qualifications. Their products are actually looked at by an admissions committee that we have, just to make sure that they're specialty food. And then once they join the NASFT, they can exhibit at the Fancy Food Show.
Now, I imagine your primary audience is specialty food makers and marrying those with distributors and that sort of thing. But what about the general public? Someone listening on the line right now that's like, a big foodie and just
sounds like a giant tasting.
Right. It sounds like a big giant tasting. Are they admitted?
No. Unfortunately, I know that they would all love to be admitted, and they would have a wonderful
Imagine
time.
the people you would have.
Yeah, but there'd be lots of people, and since these are all such small entrepreneurial companies, this is really their chance to meet the buyers and to get their businesses started. And it's more important for them to be talking to Williams-Sonoma or to Bristol Farms than it is for them to be feeding somebody. So unfortunately, we don't do that at our show. There certainly are consumer shows people can go to.
Right. But what the general public can get out of this is when the press goes, they take a look at what's hot, what's up and coming, and then you'll see articles, I would imagine, in the San Jose Mercury News, the Santa Cruz Sentinel, the Chronicle,
about these cool products that you may start to see on store shelves near you.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you'll see a lot of press about them. You'll see, radio shows talking about them. You'll see some things on TV about them. And then, one of the things that's nice about this industry, since it's so many small producers and a lot of small retailers, the food can get out into the market really quickly. It wouldn't be unusual for a retailer to discover something here tomorrow, to order it, and he could have it on the shelves within a week.
Really? That quickly?
Is fast.
Yeah, that quickly. It's not everything, but certainly lots of things can move out there very fast. I mean, if you guys find something you really like and you want to set up a little cart in front of your radio station, you can order it and start, making some money on it yourself.
I might just do that with the Holy Crap cereal that we featured earlier. It is so delicious. I wouldn't mind becoming a distributor of it because just about every ingredient in it is an up-and-coming ingredient.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
The hemp,
that's a great thing.
And that's just an
chai.
example of one of the products that will be showcased there.
Yes. So, do you group the products at all, like hot sauces are all together, or wines, that sort of thing?
No.
No.
And as you come up here, have you been here before?
No,
To the
this
Fancy
will be
Food
my
Show?
first time.
Okay, so you want to be a little bit careful. So you don't want to go have a chocolate and then go have a hot sauce and then go have some pate and then go decide you want some kimchi.
The line for the bathroom's long.
Yeah, it doesn't all kind of mix in your stomach the way that you think it would. So kind of set up a plan.
Have you seen some bad cases in the past? I'm just curious.
We have seen people that do get sick, and particularly badly. If it happens a lot with first-time buyers. They come and they just get so excited, they just start trying everything, and you just got to be careful about it because you're going to walk past and you're going to see wonderful foods and you're going to see wonderful people and they're going to want you to taste it, and it's sometimes hard to say no, but it's not that hard to say not now. I'll come back.
So kind of plan it out and be strategic about what you're mixing and matching, I imagine.
I think it's smart to do that. I mean, I kind of recommend that you go through and taste everything almost the way you would be eating a meal. So you may want the appetizers and snacks first, and then you may want to move into the meats and pastas, and then you might want to wait till 3 or 4 o'clock to, to have the chocolates and the cakes, and then wait till 4:30 to go get your after dinner wine or port or something like that.
Now, Ron, you deal with all of these fancy foods day in and day out, and one of the things that we focus on this show, our main focus really is up-and-coming food and beverage trends, and so over the years, you've seen a lot of trends come and go. I'm wondering, what are you seeing more of now, and you really, because it happens in front of you before it happens in front of the general public. And so I guess if I had to take a guess, I would say more organics, more non-GMOs, more healthy foods. What are you seeing as the next wave?
Well, we've a little bit more specific than that. We're seeing a lot of healthy chips. People have always been eating the potato chips and the tortilla chips, but we have a lot of people that are making bean chips. They're making hummus chips. They're making Granny Smith apple chips. We have a company here making a pina colada chip, so it must be a kale chip which tastes like a pina colada. That sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So people are looking for healthier snacks, and people are looking for like unusual combinations. We've been looking at some of the chocolate companies, and they're kind of just mixing unusual things together with chocolate. So we have a company called Bissinger's, which is out of St. Louis. They have chocolate-covered wine grapes with blue cheese. So that sounds like it would be either really good or something you wouldn't like, but you could try that. We have another company called Sea Point Farms that has an edamame crunch chocolate bar, so you can get your little edamame and get your chocolate bar all at the same time. And a company called Marish Confectionery, which is from California, they have dark chocolate bacon pretzels.
Wow.
And believe it or not, these dark chocolate bacon pretzels are kosher. I don't know exactly how they do that, but you guys should stop by and
I'm going to have to check that out.
That is interesting. Okay.
A lot of the salty chocolate I've been seeing nowadays.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to go up there, and we will have a full report on it next week for sure, if I can keep from making it mixing too many things together. Ron Tanner with the Winter Fancy Food Show. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Back in just a moment with Chef Tips. Some of California's best restaurants, hotels, and homes are perched on steep hillsides with incredible views. But those buildings weren't just thrown there. They were placed on foundations designed and perfected by experts. Throughout much of the Bay Area, those hillside foundations were placed by S.S. Caveney Construction. With nearly 3 decades of experience dealing with the steepest and most difficult terrain, S.S. Caveney Construction is well known for being the go-to company when quality is your number one concern. Hillsides in California, as you know, are prone to drainage issues that can lead to erosion and slippage. S.S. Caveney Construction will solve those problems for you. Get a quote today by contacting the team you need. Head to S.S. Caveney, that's CAVENEY.com, and get your foundation placed correctly the first time.
I'm in almost every school bus and classroom. I go to school with your children. We say the Pledge of Allegiance together. You see me around the neighborhood and you tell me that I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm one out of every 5 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger. This problem is closer than you think. My teacher tells me we can grow up to be whatever we want. I want to grow up to be someone who doesn't go to bed hungry. There's enough food in this country to feed everybody. Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help. Every dollar you donate helps provide 8 meals for kids like me, quietly struggling with hunger. Together, we are Feeding America, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hello, this is Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and I want to tell you about my new favorite discovery, Yosemite National Park. I recently went there with my husband and children, and we walked the trails to see the breathtaking waterfalls, admired the grand meadows, and giant sequoias. But the future of our national parks is uncertain. Many challenges face our parks today, from polluted air and water to development threats outside their borders and inadequate funding to protect our national heritage. That's why the National Parks Conservation Association recently completed a decade-long assessment of the challenges facing our national parks, along with proposed actions that will ensure our children and grandchildren will be able to enjoy the parks as we have. Our national parks have inspired Americans for nearly 100 years. As we approach the centennial of the National Park Service in 2016, please join us in helping to protect our national park legacy. Find out how at www.mpca.org.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
This is Betty White. I know you don't need one more thing to worry about, but listen, high blood pressure can cause kidney damage, blindness, heart attack, stroke, and you can have high blood pressure even if you feel all right. 1 in 7 adults has it, but it's easy to get your blood pressure checked, and you can treat it if it is too high. So don't worry about it, don't ignore it, just see your doctor and check it out.
For your free booklet, visit the Will Rogers Institute at wrinstitute.org and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. Here now is your fabulous host, Mr. Randall White.
And a very good day to you. 9:33 the time on this Sunday Fun Day morning. Hope your morning is off to a great start. Have a nice cup of Java in front of you, or perhaps some tea. You know, breaking off the chill from the night before, Patty Piper, because
Yes.
it's chilly overnight.
It's sunny outside, but still chilly. Temperatures warming up nicely, though, today.
A great day to go enjoy a local restaurant. It is California Restaurant Month, and you can go out and find one of those perfect restaurants with a nice patio and get a 3-course meal for $30 in most cases. I know in San Luis Obispo County, for San Luis Obispo County Restaurant Month, those are the rules.
3-course meal for $30, and it's a great chance for people to, get out of your rut, try a place that you've thought, maybe I should eat there. Well, this is a great way to give it a spin. Try it out.
And try some places that might be, kind of on the pricey side, and so maybe you've steered away.
Shied away.
Yeah, shied away just because you didn't want to put a big giant dent in the pocketbook. Well, now you'll get out of there for, if there's 2 of you, $60, plus gratuity and wine or whatever you might be having with the meal. One of those fantastic places is a new restaurant that has popped up in Paso Robles wine country, opened up last fall, and it is Paso Terra. And it is run by Chef Andre, so you can literally have dinner with Andre.
Yes.
And, well, the whole thing is Chef Andre joins us right now to talk a little bit about it. And you have a catering company called Dinner with Andre, is that right?
Well, good morning. Anyway.
Yes, good morning to you.
How are you? Then, yes, we started about 10 years ago here in Paso Robles as a catering company, but when we opened our place, it was like a pastry shop, a French pastry shop.
Mhm.
There were already 3 French restaurants. It was no way for us to be opening another French restaurant. Then
The market was sort of saturated with French
yeah,
spots.
yes, actually, we thought that it was not a good idea, really. And then our business evaluated in such a way that our catering business took over, and then we did very well, you know. And then it was taking so much over very well that we had to kind of abandon the idea of the retail. Then we rent our place on the front, a different business, you know.
Oh, okay.
Then last year with my wife Christina, we decided that it would be a good idea to open as a restaurant. We did two TV show here locally, food show, you know,
Mhm.
and the first one was paired with the seafood, and then we said maybe it would be a good idea to include the seafood in what we do, since nobody in Paso Robles is doing the type of seafood that I will be doing.
And what is the type of seafood? How do you differentiate it?
Well, you know, of course, being French and being trained classical French, I keep the classical dishes that we can find, such as trout meunière and swordfish grenobloise with the capers. And
I wish I could say all those things the way.
It sounds, I know. It sounds great.
Then also the availability of having all those very interesting exotic fish here on the Pacific, you know, that I
Right.
can get fish from Hawaii, fish from New Zealand, South American fish, you know, and then suddenly I create more like an international kind of food, you know. I have a chopino, and I have a few dishes with pasta. We make our own pasta, you know. Then we try to have a special that is very attractive to people. Of course, I have a lobster from Maine
Mhm.
and stuff like that, you know.
People try to ask me sometimes when I'm traveling. I'll mention California cuisine,
Mhm.
and they'll say to me, "What?"
Like to define that.
Right. What is
that?
California cuisine? Everyone sort of kind of knows, but I think it's international. It has a lot of flavors from Mexico, from France, from
South America.
South America.
Spanish.
It's fresh,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So, would you describe your seafood? And there's a lot of seafood involved. Would you describe your seafood restaurant as being maybe a little California cuisine? To make up a word?
No, not really. I will say
No?
it's more like a Mediterranean influence, you know,
Uh-huh.
because I
Delish.
use a lot of product like we use like around the Mediterranean area, like in the Provence where I come from,
Mhm.
you know, in Tuscany area, and you know, the Italian. We have bell pepper, tomato, onion, garlic, you know, all the spice and the nice herbs. Then I think this area here, when I came here with my wife about 10 years ago, we discovered this area. I was so shocked by living 25 years in Los Angeles. I didn't know this area because it's exactly like the south of France.
Ah.
We have a beautiful weather.
Mhm.
The temperature is a little hot in the summer, but not so much. But you know, we have exactly the same
Climate?
Climate, agricultural. I mean, we have olive trees, vine, you know, lavender, and all the things that goes with the calcareous soil that we have in Paso Robles.
I want to go to Provence so bad. Yeah. Years ago, when I was in my early 20s, one of my roommates had a big jar in the kitchen, and on it said herbs de Provence.
Provence,
Yeah.
yes,
Uh-huh.
And that was the first I had heard of any, I said, what's that? What do you,
What's in that jar?
Well, basically, they are like the Italian herbs, you know, except we add a little lavender in there. you
Little
know.
lavender mixed in?
Yeah.
Yes, it makes really nice.
So is that ultimately what brought you to the area then? Just sort of like a home away from home? Or what made you decide to come here?
At the time, we just got married and we wanted to go to Napa to make our honeymoon trip. And in the nature of our business, we had a restaurant in South Pasadena. And we couldn't go far away. Then we make a shortcut to the Central Coast to discover this area here. And my brother, that is in the wine business in Los Angeles, he said, hey, you know, you should go to Paso Robles. There is a company called Tablas Creek that
Oh, yeah.
is reproducing the wine of our area in Chateauneuf-du-Pape. And I said, oh, wow, that's exciting. Let's go and take a look. Because those guys, when they established themselves, Tablas Creek over there in the west side of Paso Robles, they were looking in all California for calcareous soil. And they find particularly right there. That's why when we came here, for me, it was so familiar to see all this vegetation that I recognized. We have an oak tree as well. Of course, we have a little more pine tree, but, it was just like suddenly a familiar kind of
I found that
atmosphere.
in Portugal when I was visiting Portugal. I found the vegetation and the climate and everything so similar to California. I just loved it. I fell in love with that. But Tablas Creek, so they were looking for and you have to help me with this word. They were looking for the terroir.
Terroir, yes.
Terroir. Okay,
yes.
I just can't. I tie my tongue in a knot every time I try to say that word.
Yeah,
and that is what the earth.
About the calcareous soil, there is a minerality in there that give the wine a different distinction. It's like adding salt into the food. As soon as you add the salt into the food, suddenly all the ingredients come together. It's not like separate it where you don't have it's like salt. It's like the electricity connect everything.
Ties all the flavors of the grapes
if you
together.
don't put enough, then you are missing onto the preparation. And to me, it happened many times. I go to a nice restaurant, have beautiful food, but there's not enough seasoning to bring all this stuff together.
Well, speaking of something that you brought together really well, you will share a recipe with us. We'll do that in the next segment, though. But what it is it's a sautéed cod, right?
Yeah, it's a cod with a tapenade crust and a tomato sauce.
A tapenade crust with a tomato sauce. And we have the entire recipe available to you online at eatdrinkexplore.com. Just go to our recipe section, and so many great chefs from throughout the Central Coast and beyond have shared their recipes with us. A lot of them they don't want to part with because it's their recipe, but they've been so generous to do it. And you can find chef-inspired recipes there, along with video how-tos, and that's what we'll get coming up a little bit later. I just wanted to let you know that. Stick around if you want a terrific seafood recipe, but in line with a seafood recipe is the portion where you go to the store to pick the fish. And you have some tips for how to deal with seafood in general.
Well, the most of the time in the store you will buy the fillet, but if you are going to Morro Bay or another place where they sell the fresh fish, there are some a sign for you to recognize about the freshness of a fish. First of all, the first thing is the smell.
He says with a little sniff right beforehand. The first thing is the smell. That's the dead giveaway. It's a dead giveaway. If something smells like fish, it shouldn't smell like fish, essentially, right?
It should smell like a sea, the sea salt, the freshness. It should be not different than that. Then that's the first aspect. Then the second aspect is the look of it. If he has eyes that are not clear, they are kind of hazy,
cloudy.
That's a sign of not being so fresh.
So then, good smell, clear eyes.
Clear eyes. Then after that, you look at the gill. Under the gill, there to be kind of different fish, different color, but it still need to be on the reddish side, not a kind of beige color. That would be another sign. Then when you touch the fish, it should be slimy, there's this wrapping of viscosity around the fish when it comes from the sea. That is a very good sign.
Slippery,
very slippery.
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
In one direction, right? In the other direction, it doesn't want to move. Your fingers don't want to move at all, right?
Then the other side is when you touch with the fish body with your finger. If it bounces back, it's good. But if you leave an imprint, that the fish is kind of old,
Yeah, I heard that from a chef before. So when I'm in the in the section where they have the fish in the styrofoam trays, I'm always poking them, and I wonder if people are like, "Why is she fondling the fish? What is she doing?" But I do.
And then the how do you say, the gills, the tail should be flexible and moist, should not be dry out on the outside,
Right.
But of course now we buy the fish already fillet, and to me, when I came in this country, and I worked in the little restaurant, it was a discovery for me about fish because where I came from in south of France, I was not exposed to those really quality fish like that, a big steak, my mind, the fish was actually a pain to eat because it's full of bones, it's tiny.
You have to scale it. Yeah. But no, we do that all for you here in California. So, all right, stick around, everyone, because just after the commercial break, Chef Andre will be sharing his cod sauté with black olive tapenade crust. It's delicious. If you can watch us online, we have some fantastic photos to sort of walk you through it. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm your host, Randall White. Maddie Piper. The holidays are now over, but Restaurant Month here in California is just getting started as January unfolds with a wave of culinary diversity. The hottest place in the state to take it all in is along the Central Coast in San Luis Obispo County. Featured on local menus are ingredients grown on nearby farms, savory seafood caught that day in the Pacific Ocean, and grass-fed beef raised on the county's lush green hillsides, all served with a touch of Western flavor unique to the region. Not only are these offerings among the best in the nation, but these foods are paired with top local wines, craft brews, and outstanding scenery. When considering your 2013 New Year's resolutions, be sure to include an education for your palate, an experience that can only come from visiting the culinary destination that is San Luis Obispo County. Oh, and I'm sure saving money is on your list of resolutions as well. Perfect, because participating restaurants are offering substantial 3-course menus for just $30. This is your opportunity to sample some of the many establishments you've talked about visiting but never have, or revisiting some of your old favorites. And because SLO County is at the heart of Central Coast wine country, a new element is being added this year called Wine Wednesdays. Now, select restaurants will be pairing their menus with a local vintner's selections, and look for other wine-related options as well. San Luis Obispo County's 6th annual Restaurant Month runs January 1st through the 31st, but don't wait until the month is almost over to start enjoying this annual tradition. Don't hesitate. Find the restaurant of your choice and make your reservations now. For more information, head to sanluisobispocounty.com and start planning your next mouth-watering adventure.
Hi, this is Rick Moranis. You know, some people are more careful about what they feed their cars than what they feed their bodies. They know that the wrong fuel can hurt a car's performance and maybe ruin the engine. But the wrong food can have the same effect on your health. Too much fat, too many calories, and too little of what's good for you can affect how well you feel and even lead to serious illness. So eat right. It'll help you keep running smooth.
For more information, visit the Will Rogers Institute at wrinstitute.org or call toll-free 877-957-7575 and find us on Facebook and Twitter. Wayne Brady for the Will Rogers Institute.
Hey folks, I've got something that will truly revolutionize your life. It's called exercise. It will get you from here to there, allow you to spend time with your family and meet new people, cut inches from your waistline, and improve the quality of your life. Even help improve your self-image. Sexy. So when you've got to choose between moving around or lying on the couch, choose exercise. You won't be sorry.
For your free booklet, visit wrinstitute.org or call toll-free 877-957-7575 and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
For the latest video and information from today's show, head on over to eatdrinkexplore.com. We're constantly updating it with the latest food, beverage, and travel trends. Also, we're launching a new section of the site called California Love. This is where we recommend great companies, and the best part is every single business we feature is locally owned. We've checked them out and are confident you'll love them as much as we do. This is a great tool to have as we head into the holiday shopping season. Since you're already spending money, you might as well support your neighbor. We choose businesses that give back to the community, care about the environment, or use only the freshest local and organic ingredients. They also make their products here, not overseas. Our California Love business recommendation tool is still in the development stages, but will be available very soon at eatdrinkexplore.com. Eat, Drink, Explore Media, your lifestyle information source. 9:49 now on this Sunday morning, Sunday Fun Day. Great to have you with us, everyone. I'm your host, Randall White, joined by Patty Pyburn. You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network, or as we were talking about during the commercial break, Ricardo running our video over here said that sometimes we call it the Eat, Drink, Explode because we had a little...
Back to that word of I ate the whole thing.
Right, exactly. So great to have you with us, everyone. And our guest to round out the show here is Chef Andre with Paso Terra. And terra is a French word meaning like the earth, like we were talking before, terroir. And so like the surrounding Paso area all folded into a primarily seafood restaurant there in the Paso Robles wine region. And he joins us this final segment to share a recipe. But before we get to the recipe, Chef Andre, what is your background? How did you get into cooking and that sort of thing?
Well, my mother was a chef, and automatically when I was in the teens, that I helped her in the kitchen and that kind of things. And it was more like when I was about 17 years old that someone said, Andre, what would you like to do? And I said, well, I don't know. He said, well, don't you become a chef? Then it was in my little town of Avignon in the south of France, and coincidentally it was a tiny little cooking school being open for 2 years now. And then I enlisted and went to that school. I did very well in the school. I came out from the first apprentice of the school, a student of the school. Then I participated to elimination. I became the first apprentice of Southeast of France. Then I had to go and compete in Paris for the best apprentice of France.
Wow.
Which I didn't make it too much because there were some other people knowing the techniques, how to use the system to,
the politics of the system.
Well, myself, I was okay. I was very happy to go to Paris. I was like 18 years old, 19, and it was great. First time in Paris, was excellent. Then I was hired as a pastry chef, and then when I came out from the school, I have 3 diplomas. I have a pastry chef. Also, I learned how to become a butcher, and also with a certificate, and a chef, of course, cooking. And then I became a pastry chef at the time in a catering company in the south of France. Then I came to America, in
Los Angeles?
In Los Angeles, 1978, and I worked in this tiny little French restaurant, very, very with a nice reputation. And 3 years later, I became a chef, executive chef for that place.
Wow.
And then
L.A. in the late 70s, early 80s. That must have been fun.
Well, it was. You have to remember at this time, it was like a French influence cooking, and the restaurant, they were very popular. Then toward the end of the 80s, it was suddenly the fusion.
Wolfgang had laid down his Wolfgang Puck, right? Was getting things moving there then through the 80s.
Well, he was one of the chefs, starting the movement. He opened a few nice restaurants, and then some other chefs came along, and the fusion started to happen. Then it was a different movement into the gastronomy here.
And now here you are, a restaurant owner with your wife, Christina, who's here in studio as well, in the Paso Robles area, and on your menu right now is a cod sauté with black olive tapenade crust that
looks delicious.
It really does. It's nice enough to share with us. You can, again, get the recipe at eatdrinkexplore.com. But let's walk through the steps right now if we're making this seafood dish, starting with the red sauce that you have.
Okay, the tomato sauce is a very simple component of here. It's not too heavy. Remember that the codfish I use, the cod is very lean. Then this is a very healthy dish actually. The only fat that we have here comes from the olives and the olive oil that we use.
So it's all good fat.
Yeah, the sauce is very simple. You saute some shallots, and you put first the shallots in the olive oil, then you put the garlic. Don't put the garlic too soon, it will burn. Then you add your tomato, chopped tomato with no seeds, because the seeds make the sauce a little bitter. And then you will add the white wine and the fish stock. If you have some fish stock, you can go and buy clam juice. You can do the same thing. Then your tomato sauce will have a flair of seafood. It's more like a little bit like a Cioppino style sauce, and then you put herbs in there, Provence herbs or Italian herbs, and the salt, pepper. I think it will be just the way it is, and you simmer it for about 10-15 minutes. You process it. Now, you can put it in a blender. If you put it in a blender, the advice will be that make sure it's not hot because your blender will explode.
And you'll end up with red sauce all over your face.
That's right. It did happen to me a couple of times before. Then, on the other hand, if you have like a hand plunger kind of blender, then it makes the job very well also.
Oh, okay.
Then that's much better.
So those do come in handy. They're not just a novelty gift.
No, those are nice to have. Yeah.
And I see in the store available to everybody that now they have those nice hand mixer. They are really blender. They are really nice, you know. They are very powerful for what it is.
Yeah.
And they are not
that can go everywhere too if you're not careful.
No, actually, if you have a straight container,
You have to
very
keep it
deep,
straight up.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so then let's get to the tapenade. So really, this fish has two things complementing it: the red sauce and a tapenade.
It's not a complicated dish actually. The tapenade, if you want to make the tapenade, is actually made from petite black olives. Now, available here, you will find Kalamata's, but the Kalamata's texture doesn't puree as well like the one they are cure olives like from Greece or Morocco, and you know they are a little more character, I think, you know. And then I prefer those one particularly. Then what you do, you put them into a Cuisinart or a food processor. You will put your olives and raw garlic and raw shallots. And you will put a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper. You can add
Italian herbs.
But also some people they add the capers because the original recipe had the capers also. Then you can blend all these together.
I just saw a jar of capers at Costco yesterday that I was thinking, when will I ever go through that many capers? Because those are, you know, capers are a little goes a long way. Yeah.
Well, they don't spoil. I mean, they are in the brine.
That's true. Yeah, they don't spoil.
And then you puree this. And then to make the crust, actually, what I do, I take some breadcrumbs and kind of soften some butter.
Okay.
Mix with the crumbs, and I put this mixture with the tapenade. Then what I will do, I will saute my fish. When I saute the fish, first of all, I season the fish, pass it in the flour, remove the excess, and then I will saute it in the canola oil. I don't use olive oil because the olive oil burns so fast.
A lower smoke point than the canola.
Right. Then you're losing the quality of the olive oil if you do that. Then it's not really good. Plus, it's expensive, you know. Then you can use a canola or you can use a peanut oil as well, okay?
Or if price is no option, avocado oil and grapeseed oil have really high smoke points.
Yes, actually, grapeseed oil is the new thing. Yes.
We're going to have to wrap it up right there. The entire recipe is online. This is for the cod sauté with black olive tapenade crust from Chef Andre of Paso Terra in Paso Robles, part of California Restaurant Month, San Luis Obispo County Restaurant Month. You can learn more at sanluisobispocounty.com. We also have a link to PasoTerra.com on today's program summaries. Thank you, sir. Great to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for sharing the recipe, too. We very much appreciate that. Okay, that does it for this week's episode of the Eat, Drink, Explore Sunday Fun Day edition. Join us on Thursday for our brand new Market Fresh. I'm your host, Randall White, joined by Patty Pyburn. Make it a great Sunday.
You've been listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you missed any of our segments today, look for them online.